Have to put my glasses on so I can see what I got going on. Let me look at some of these comments. Hey, everybody. I am live. We are live. All right, let me get comfortable. Had to get my little ginger ale this morning and had my kid. She's on her senior trip today. It's her last year. Can y'all believe it? I just can't believe it. I can't believe it. One and done, y'all. One and done. One and done. Um, so this is Coach J. This is our morning show right here. We are live on Substack as well as YouTube. YouTube, the video, you can see me live on video. On Substack, you can hear my voice because this will be uploaded to our podcast, the Digital Lead Her podcast. Um, this is your first time joining me. If this is your first time, give me some. Well, actually, if it's your first time joining me, this is what I want to do. Put a one in the comments if it's your first time listening. Like you've been trying to get me, you've been trying to listen, or you just popped up on Substack or YouTube and you're like, who is this person? What and this topic is very interesting. Am I loud, Sean? Can you Sean is on YouTube. Sean, can you hear me? Is the mic on? I know Substack the mic is on. But let me know. Let me know if the mic is on. Okay. All right. So I guess everybody has been here. Yeah, she said nice and clear. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Okay, y'all. So I guess it's everybody. Everybody's been here. So I was trying to see if anybody this is their first time. Everybody seems to be cool. Give me a heart, any color, any color. If you can hear me, Substack, give me a heart in the chat if you can hear me. I removed the setting that anybody can comment because it's open and free and clear, live audio. All right, y'all. I love it. I love it. I love coming on live. I really do. I really enjoy doing this. Fun fact about me. I've always wanted to have like my own. Okay, welcome, Dina. I've always wanted my own like show. Like I always kind of look at people like on love what is it called? iHeartRadio and how they used to have their radio shows. I like to just yap. Like if this is my career, this is my dream career. And I feel like I'm doing that already. I feel like I'm doing it, right? My dream career is getting on here with a quote unquote show. Sean said you give she said you give Oprah vibes. I love it. Like I want to get on here and yap, right? For like an hour, hour and a half, maybe even two, right? And then have guests on sparingly and things like that. Cause I have so many things. And I'm a teacher by heart. So I used to teach at Belhaven University in Katy, Texas. I lived in Houston, Texas for 10 years. When I was in the church, I used to teach Sunday school. And that's something I taught Sunday school for like maybe 6 years. I used to teach the teens. The teens loved me. Sunday school used to be busting wide open because I used to, ain't that something coming from somebody who deconstructed and all that kind of stuff? And it's like the teens used to like, they came to church. Do you hear me? And they were ready to learn. And then I would give them homework and all that kind of stuff. They loved it. Also too, I've taught obviously led trainings in corporate and things of that nature. And plus, even in my own business, I've owned my own business for this business for 5 years, but I've been an entrepreneur on and off for a total of 14 years. But this is my most, I always tell people like all of my businesses were successful. Like I had clients, payments, and things like that. But as far as profitability and what I'm doing, this has been the most profitable, right? Having a few interviews, um, and digital courses, maybe doing a little consulting here and there because I'm going to tell you, I've done high ticket coaching, I've done all the coaching, right? And I'm 42 years old, I'll be 43 next year. So it's giving legacy. Like I'm preparing for my legacy era. My daughter's about to go to college. I don't have any other children. It's one and done situation. And I just want to travel. Like, that's all I wanna do after this. I wanna travel, have me a little boyfriend one day, that's like 10 years older than me, got a yacht or whatever, and because I don't wanna get married again. And I just wanna frolic. What they say, what the girlies say, the dilly and dallying? What did I say it right? The dilly dally? Like, that's literally what I wanna do. And I wanna make, like, crap loads of money. And then I told my best friend, I was like, Netflix just opened up their little, like, podcast media division or whatever, and I said, "Well, maybe I can give me a little deal, like, in another year or 2 once I build this thing up, give me a little $5 million deal in Netflix, and they just pay me, and I could just live the rest of my days in the soft life." That's what I see. I mean, that's just what I think, okay? So anyway, that's kinda like my thing. That's, like, really my thing. And I just like having fun and building communities and things like that. I like to see my clients win. I like to see people do well. And I know I was born for this. If Yeah, how many of y'all do like birth charts? Y'all understand birth charts? Is that a thing for you? If it's not your thing, it's okay. If you're just like, oh no, I don't believe in that, it's fine. Just you can stay here and stomach through this. If it is your thing or you're interested in it, give me some hearts if that's like you're interested in, you're cool with it. Um, I'm a Cancer sun, right? Cancer sun is zodiac. I'm a Cancer rising and a Capricorn moon. But my north node is in Gemini. And Gemini has been known to talk. Like they're what is it called? It's the sign of communication, right? If it's a toxic Gemini, they lie a lot. It's almost a low key double personality, which is the twins, right? If it's a toxic Gemini, they do is lie all the time, and they're just brash with their words. But a healed Gemini is someone who is has the gift of communication. And so that's really kind of my thing. Like when I found out that was my North Node, and North Node is equivalent or in alignment to your destiny, quote unquote, right? Why you are here. And this is coming from somebody who used to Ooh, I was criticized as a child because people would always try to keep me humble. Like they would because they knew when I spoke and when I opened my mouth. And I was a genuinely curious person. Excuse me. Been talking all morning. Um I'm a curious person. I like to research and read a lot. And that's all I did when I was a child, right? And so when it was time for me to get up in front of people, like I could not stand. And I know this is very hard to believe, but if you put me in a big room with a lot of people, I'm not like I don't want to do that. Like it gives me a little fear, right? And so, but when I do open my mouth and I speak, it's like people are changed, people are shifted, people like, oh my gosh, that was so good. I have the gift. I was like, I open my mouth and I don't know what comes out, but it makes sense sometimes. Um, and so when I found out that that was kind of my destiny in so many ways, I just decided to embrace it. I decided to hold it and say, you know what, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And I knew that, speaking and writing are both of my gifts. I know that. I know that. And, as people say, there's a prophetic sense to this too, because I'm spiritual as well. But I love blending spiritual and business together because I do believe that there is a connection. And I also feel, and this is you see how I'm using I feel. So feel means I'm moving into the realm of emotion, right? So now we're going back to physiological feeling. Anytime you say I feel, that's what that is. Like you're going back to your body. When it comes down to feeling, I feel that we're in a system, right, that rewards toxicity, that rewards um manipulation and deception, right? It seems as if that's that way. And how can I live a healthy and fulfilling life and still be kind to people, still feed people, still give to and I'm still generating income by building an infrastructure, and my gifts are actually making room for me and it's opening doors for me, right? And I'm doing it from a space of purity. In terms and when I say purity, I'm talking about my intentions are good, right? But see, if we don't have examples of that, then people won't think that, and I think that's why a lot of people move so slow because they are shielding themselves. Like, I have good intentions, and I don't see a lot of people with good intentions doing well. Is this hitting anybody? Is this helping you? Like, I want to do well in life. And when I say well, I'm not saying you're not comfortable and you can't pay your bills. I'm saying, like, when I say well, I'm talking about you didn't got to work for nothing, right? And so we are in an era where we're seeing a lot of things come to light. And we've had this conversation before for those of you who have been on my lives before. And in fact, I just talked about this the other day. I told y'all we were in the age of what? Air. And the age of air, Gemini, which is so funny to me that 47 is a Gemini. Um, and and 47 is Gemini. But what is happening is that the air is how a lot of us are able to listen to people all over the world and listen to people in another region, in another time zone. It could be, you could be in Europe, you could be in Australia, and still being able to listen to somebody no matter what time it is. And if that person is providing value, you're willing to get up in the morning or you're willing to stay up a little later just to hear what this person has to say because you have gotten value from that person before. So in the age of air, there's a lot of what? Revelation happening. There's a lot of and revelation ain't always good, as we know. If you are you know the Bible in so many ways, like the book of Revelation is very scary for people who are, rooted in that fear, that all that going on. But if you are a person like revelation is revealing what was once hidden. And so we're moving into and it's going fast. It's accelerating. It's a lot of things that are happening behind closed doors. And this is why a lot of people are grieving right now because ignorance was bliss. I know I was gonna go in this quick. I know I was gonna I didn't know I was gonna go in like this. Ignorance is bliss. To not know were the good old days when you didn't know anything, when you were hidden, when you were innocent in your thinking, you know. But I always tell people entrepreneurship, and you've probably heard this in the social sphere, but I want you to know that they heard it from me. If you've heard this quote before, it came from me because I first quoted this 2019. Entrepreneurship is a spiritual assignment. That was a revelation for me. It's a spiritual assignment. I'll tell you why. It's the only way that you are walking in the unseen, and it is tied to destiny. So it don't matter what economy. This is what I told my clients, and some of them are listening in. It don't matter the economy. It don't matter if the economy is up, down. It don't matter if the stock market crash. When you were given the assignment, and I'm gonna tell you how you knew that it was an assignment, because I'm gonna hit some of y'all in the gut real quick. How you knew it was an assignment is that it doesn't matter if you want to quit or not. You got to get up with it anyway. It was always on you. And look, you will be in your job. Just go back to the days when you were in that job and you couldn't stay in that job and you're like, oh, but it was always something about you. People just always saw something on you. And everything that you said made sense. It shifted things. It brought ideas. It inspired people. People, even if your boss was jealous of you, that's how sometimes you know too, because sometimes your boss get jealous of you because you know so much. And you attracted people to you. Like people were actually impressed and it made them think about things in a different way. And then you have people to come to you on the side and be like, girl, when you said that in the meeting today, I was thinking that. And I loved how you put that. That presentation was so good. And you thinking like, girl, that thing, look, it was not good. I just started that thing. And look, and you just sitting there like, girl, it wasn't nothing. And everybody's telling that was so good. Like, girl, you were that was excellent. You thinking that it was mediocre, it was subpar, it was mm-mm. And then on top of that, you've had people to say, if you ever start a business, if you ever start doing this, you let me know. And people will come and tell you, girl, you too smart to be here. And you saying, girl, I can't. I don't. And then you start thinking. But I'm going to tell you what hit you in the gut. When it's time for you to step out, listen to me. When it's time for you to step out, you get nervous because you think about how am I going to take care of myself? How am I going to do that? How am I going to pay my bills? Because what? Corporations, when you look at the root word of corporation, it's corpse. Okay, is dead. Corporations have no soul. This is why a lot of people who are creatives, individuals that are visionaries, don't do very well. Like they do well. Come on, somebody. They do well, but they don't fare well with the powers that be within the corporation because they want you to forget your soul in the process. But they know who it is. They know. I remember my last my job that I had as a director of talent management for a startup in Houston. And I think I was there for 2 years or something like that. And I won accounts, like I won an account with TXU Energy, some doctor's offices, sold. That's why I said like sales and all that kind of stuff. I know all that stuff, y'all. And hire people, did interviews. We used to do all kinds of like workshops and stuff like that. When I left that company, right? When I left that company, my boss hired me as a consultant right after that. Welcome, Marlo. Hey, Marlo. And I remember I became a consultant. And the consultant was to kind of hold things until she was able to hire my replacement, which was fine because I did all the SOPs, handbooks, and all that kind of stuff and helped her out because she was a certified SHRM professional. And as you know, if you're in the SHRM, if you're in HR, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But my point here is that she knew it was something about me. And I asked for her blessing. And because I learned from her, she was the CEO and I reported straight to her. And so a lot of the things about business, I learned from her. In fact, she mentored my daughter and everything. And I always watched her mannerisms when it came down to business, dealing with financials and all these other things. And a lot of that I attribute to um when I got started in Ellison, my company, I started to kind of look at what I was dealing with the company, and I will always draw from the experience watching her. And I always tell people like spirit or God put me through a boot camp, if you will, because at this point it was going to come a time where I had to see how to manage, how to show up, how to do it even when I didn't want to, how to monitor and manage my emotions when things went awry, when you had a disgruntled client, when you had great clients, when you had people to steal from you, when you had people to take your content, when you had people to copy your mannerisms and copy your content, all these other things, how you deal with those things. I learned a lot of that from her, even though, because see, it's not enough to just own a business, right? It's not enough to just say, I want to do this. There is a personal, spiritual, mental, all of that that goes into owning. Because see, you still got to hold the position as a watcher, and you got to continue to speak over your business as you speak over yourself. It doesn't matter the economy. It doesn't matter what is going on in the world. It doesn't matter. What matters is that when the assignment was brought to you, the assignment was brought to you, and the consideration of the economic ups and downs were factored into that. This is why a lot of you can't put it down. Like, you want to give up on it. You want to, like, I'm just gonna close it up. You know how many times I said that over 5 years? I'd be like, you know what, forget it. I'm not gonna. Mm-mm. And then here come a client. You're like, here come a client. And then you like, time goes by, and then you get into another slump, and you be like, forget it. No, you can't put it down. You wake up in the middle of the night, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning with ideas, and you have a notebook next to your bed and just writing down all kinds of, like, oh, this was good. Like, oh, that was, because see, I'm trying not to have y'all running on here. Because see, this is the thing. You cannot put it down, because that which you have been blessed with as an assignment is eternal. This is why you cannot allow yourself to listen to people who have never done anything supernatural in their life. I don't care if they pray. It's you got to be careful. I'm not talking about looking at their life. I'm not talking about the Lamborghinis and the G wagons and all this kind of stuff. I'm not talking about performative activities. I'm talking about the faith to hold on through it. Like, even now, like, I have every right. If I want to close this bad boy up, I could get a job like that tomorrow. Easy. All I gotta do is make maybe 4 phone calls, and mm-mm. And I look. I will say that I'm like, you know what? Maybe it's time for me to just, give it up. I tried. Next thing you know, here comes something in the inbox. I'm like, why I gotta always get to the point of giving up before? But this is usually what happens, because it's a release. It's a detachment from the outcome. And this is why you have to walk this thing by faith. And I told women, like, if you don't have a vision for your company, where's your vision? What's the mission? What is it tied to? There has to be a reason why you're getting up every day. I'm not talking about your kids. I'm not talking about, oh, I just want to have some money. No, because there's going to be some times where you're going to be in the negative, and you still got to coach. You still got to consult. Come on, somebody. You still got to show up. You can have a full master class and you be like, how in the world am I going to make payroll? And then something comes in and saves the day out of the blue. So some of y'all got to get to the place of, you got to stop running and understand pivots, understand shifts, understand that what desire do you have, and stop running away from that. Cuz when you get a revelation ain't for you to have goosebumps. It's for you to get an aha moment. There's a paradigm shift that happens, and then you need a strategy after that. Cuz you still have to go by way of the system to execute it and bring it to pass. So this is kind of what I'm saying when I say the age of air. We're in a cycle that is ending. This is the 2025 is a 9 year. We're going into the year of one, which is 2026. And like I told people, you don't know what ram that's in, because every year is a new ram. In so many it's a spirit ram. And I know we love to say that time is an illusion and time is not real, but we are governed by a construct. And you got to understand constructs are also ideologies in dimensions in so many ways. Everybody's living a different dimensions, but everybody in the same realm. Dimensions are perspectives, your point of view, and your how you conceive and perceive reality. That's a dimension. But when it comes down to realms, realms come with rank, order, and laws. You got to understand that. Savon said that was good. There's another realm coming. So you don't understand. And see, I talked about this on my Substack where I the article by the Economist where it talked about how chaotic 2026 is going to be. They're giving you a reality that they want to support because they know the power of vibration, frequency, and what is it? Frequency, vibration, and I'm missing one. Why can't I get that? Vibration, frequency, and energy. Yes, energy. So they know the power of that, and collective minds bring in a reality because it brings in a perception. Did y'all? So the war is not flesh and blood related. It's perception. You even people even say principalities and wickedness and all in our high places and principalities and all that. This is perception. It's perception. Everybody got a different perception about what's happening. That's why you got people on different understandings and everybody's off. And I'll talk about this too when it comes down to the age of intelligence. Because you have a lot of people, smart people who don't feel smart anymore. You have a lot of intelligent people that don't feel intelligent anymore because the war, quote unquote, seems to look as if the wicked are winning. It seems as if, and in so many ways, they are. This is why you got to understand laws and principles and learn how to plan against that, because you got a lot of powerful people on that side. And over there, it's not about money, it's about power and dominance. It's just dominance. Nobody's going to check the one that's dominant. Courtney said the war is in the air. The war is the element that they're using is air. It's messaging. It's media. How they're communicating. This is Aquarius. Aquarius is an air sign. I talked about that yesterday. And this is over the globe. This is worldwide. This ain't just America. Everybody going through this. Everybody going through the same ordeal. It's just different messaging per where you are. I was on the podcast yesterday as a guest. One of my good friends. Someone else, I'm trying to see if anybody here. One of my good friends, we were on a conversation yesterday talking about air, right? We were talking about the age of intelligence and all the good stuff, and she was asking me about my perception as it pertains to AI and all that good stuff. And I told her, I said, "Well, this is the age of air. It's the age of intelligence. It's the age of Wi-Fi, digital. Money is now digital. It's going into digital. We're moving away from cash and we're moving into a digital currency, right? So everything is going to be digital. And so one of the things that comes up for some people is that the distractions are centered around how can like what is the perception, what is my reality, what does that look like, right? What does it feel like? And so what it looks like can also be lined up with feeling, right? So what it appears to be also kind of connects to feeling. So if I feel like what I'm seeing is an issue for me and I'm scared and I'm full of fear, then and that's by way of what I see, right? Then it's connecting to my what? It's connected to the body, right? And I feel chaos. I feel chaotic. I feel bad, right? And so when I feel negative, then immediately it affects every area of my life. So I don't show up like I want to. I don't, I don't coach. I don't consult like I really desire to. I don't really put in the work like I'm supposed to. So it's a lot of things that are coming up, right? So it's a lot of things that I stopped doing because of what is being fed to me. Does that make sense? And it's against what I feel is high level for my life, the vision that I have for my life, what I desire to do in my life. So it's maybe a temporary distraction. Because yeah, Marlo said it's a temporary distraction. Sean said yes, they are creating chaos. US reminds me of the movie V for Vendetta. Very, very interesting. Um Eighth House of Oracle says the war is mental. Harley says propaganda. Absolutely. It's definitely a tie into that. So one of the things I wanted to bring up, I have my notes here. The age of intelligence. That's kind of haunting on that. It refers to a period of time marked by a profound synergy. Can y'all still see me and hear me, YouTube? Because I flipped screens. The age of intelligence refers to a period marked by a profound synergy between human intelligence and advanced technologies such as AI, biotech, okay, digital systems, creating unprecedented cognitive capabilities and innovation. This era, listen to me, this era emphasizes human machine collaboration rather than mere automation. Now, let's look at the industrial revolutions here. The fifth industrial revolution focuses on merging human creativity and values with advanced digital technology to promote what? Sustainability, to promote personalization and ethical approaches. Now that's the intent. And it aims at human-centric, inclusive economy where machines augment rather than replace humans. So the ethical thing is to live harmoniously with machines in the digital space. This is why I told y'all, like, what is the divine feminine in so many ways, right? So the divine feminine is the ability to be supported. It's this supportive piece. Um, you're going to see an increased conversation centered around socialism. Socialism, in so many ways, when you look at the component of that, socialism is the support of the welfare and the basic needs of each human that thrives or it that lives in your particular country. Now, as a capitalist, because I always tell people, like, if you have a business, you're a capitalist. Like, I don't care. Like, you're a capitalist. But this is why it can be of a this is why a lot of people are pushing back and pushing against it, because that means what? That you're gonna have to take care of people, right? You're gonna have to pay a hell of a lot of taxes, right? You gotta pay a lot of taxes, and it is going towards people that may not have worked as hard as you have. And I'm doing this air quotes because a lot of people that are up here didn't work that hard. They got that money through generational wealth, right? And it's their and however they got it, which we don't have to get into, but they push against it because a lot of the people that they feel like may have to take care of are people they don't even like. The term racism is expensive and discrimination is expensive is the coin term here because America is a melting pot. The states are a melting pot. There are different colors, religious affiliations, walks of life, and cultures that are housed here on this land. Whereas in China, right? So China, if you go to China, that yeah, it's maybe Democrat. I mean, not Democrat. It's socialist in so many ways, but they have that embedded into their culture. So it's just it's understood that they're going to pay a lot in taxes, like the rich people, right? The rich in China. Same thing with Denmark, and same thing with the Netherlands. Like they have an understanding that they're going to pay 40 to 50% in taxes, and it's going to benefit though. They know that it's going to support people because that's usually what in the culture is inbred, that when you become wealthy, you do give back in certain cultures. Here in America, no, that's not how that's not the culture here. The culture is that when you get wealthy, you take care of self, you take care of your, your team or corporations or whatever your workers. But then, yeah, you can do humanitarian things, you can do nonprofit stuff, blah, 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 but it's not to the good of the welfare of the day-to-day person. So what does that go back to? So I'm going back here where the sixth industrial revolution is anticipated as a future socio-technological transformation building on digital advances, integrating technologies even more deeply to define how innovation impacts humanity and impacts the planet. Let me read that one more time. The sixth industrial revolution is anticipated as a future socio technological transformation building on digital advances. So, all these things that these tech bros are building on are, and they haven't gotten the ROI in any of it, is simply because these are advances. So people are investing in an ideal rather than actuals. Does that make sense? It's very interesting how that's coming up. And then you have integrating technologies even more deeply, like I said, to redefine how innovation impacts humanity and the planet. The seventh industrial revolution is kind of less clearly defined, but may represent a stage of even further integration of technology with biological cognitive systems. So they don't even know, like they know. Let me stop saying that. They do know. Seventh industrial revolution is not clearly defined to us. So we're transitioning from the fourth going into the fifth, which embraces human values alongside technology. So the fourth industrial revolution was AI, automation, Internet of Things, and cyber physical systems. Everybody with me? As Deshaun said, they have a collective mindset. Here is every man for themselves. Absolutely. Absolutely. I completely agree. I completely agree. Um, I would love to Substack, if this is resonate with you, let me know. It's the transition from the AI moving to automation into the fifth. So that is when we're seeing human values alongside of tech. And so and it's very interesting because I think in America we just haven't landed on that yet, and it's disappointing that that is the case. Whereas, like, in other places where AI is pushed or AI is being adopted, there is a collective agenda or mission in place on how AI is going to support people and getting people ready to accept that change, right? It's an acceptance, it's an adaptation to it. So regarding human evolution, the focus is about enhancing cognitive and emotional intelligence and embracing technologies, fostering empathy and ethical frameworks to coexist with rapid technological change. Now, this is the part where it's going to get interesting. So, with regards to social dynamics, there are insights suggesting that we are kind of in this class conflict, right? Driven by disparities in the technological access. Whereas you go to, like I said, China or some of these other places like Dubai, where all of their citizens have everybody has free access to AI tools. And what is also interesting too is that we have access to free AI tools. We have DeepSeek, and it's more like it's not American. We do have free access to ChatGPT, Gemini, and things like that, but it's going to come at a cap, right? It's going to come like you can't have unlimited access. It's going to come at a cap, right? So, even on DeepSeek, I know that there is, like, the tokens and stuff, if you're gonna use it for, like, coding and things like that, there are costs to the tokens and things of like that, but what I'm saying is that it's free for their citizens in Dubai, not necessarily here. There's a cost if you wanna have unlimited access to some of these tools, right? So, that's kinda how I thought that was very interesting when it came down to that because we're in a very interesting time, like, it's the human evolution piece, cognitive, emotional, ethical growth, um, and the modern class, like I said, conflict existing around technology. That is in itself is what is shifting people and their belief systems as to why have AI and when it's also tearing up the planet and there's no intent to have it to support us. So we're being sold something different than other parts of the world. We're being sold something different. So what's my point? What is my point? My point is to understand where we are, right? You got to understand where you are. If you're going to be in the states, you have to understand that that is what it is. There's no regard for the environment. We don't even have feminine trees here. we, we don't have feminine trees. You have to go. You have to leave. And if it is feminine trees here, it's going to be locked up in a vineyard or some other like personal gardens and stuff like that. So you have to start considering where you are and instead of fighting against it, right? And when I say fighting against it, you're going up against a rough road ahead of you. And and a lot of times we get so wrapped up in like fighting against things instead of understanding how can I ethically do this work, keep my sanity, right? Keep my mindset on what I have going on and not get sidetracked by what they're doing, what they're saying, the stories that they're feeding us. Maybe I need to do this and maybe I need to quit that and just no, 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 no. Look at what's happening and plan accordingly. That's all I'm trying to tell you. Subsect, do y'all have questions? Because I see that Substack, y'all good? YouTube, y'all good? I'm trying to look at some of the people in different realities. Yes, yes, yes. I'm trying to get us to kind of think about the system, think about like stop pushing against it and start planning and being strategic. leading you don't wanna lead with emotions per se, right? So like for example, it's 2025. Do you have your systems together preparing for the new year? Do you have your whatever you're planning, whatever you have, whatever you're creating or would like to have, do you have that already set in stone? Do you have your courses right? Use these tools to get ahead of this thing. So we already know there may be some what is it called? There may be some AI bubble conversations. AI is not going away. It's not. It's not going away. I know people want it to go away, but it's not going away. And they also think that, oh, it's going to be these people. It's going to, they're not. It's not going away. And they may get a government bailout, just like in '08 when the banks needed a bailout. It may happen because it's exactly. So, what are you planning on doing to prepare yourself? Like, for example, like, do you have your stand store set up? Do you have your beacons set up? Do you have your what is it called? Member vault or Kajabi? Do you have all that set up? Some of y'all, I see y'all making it happen on Substack. I love that. Like, are you building your community? Are you reaching out to your community? What does that look like? Y'all see what I'm saying? Like, are we preparing for next year? Because they already said they're gonna make it more chaotic, unfortunately. There is intent to make it a lot more like, it's so are you preparing yourself? So do you have your lead magnet set up, your case studies? Do you have your because I told y'all market research. Are you talking to people? Are you getting your referrals? Are you reaching out to people? Are you getting yourself together? Your email templates. Look at what you are. You have to keep your sanity. Eighth house of Oracle. She said, I love this information. She said, I'm going to need help with structure because I'm feeling everything you're saying. I do not have systems in order. I would suggest, and I forgot to insert this here, but I have the Soul Stacker Writing Intensive. We start on December 2nd. If anybody is interested, put um I'm gonna put it here on YouTube. And I'm just putting it here. So if anybody is interested, and if you are on my Substack, if you go to my actual newsletter, there is a tab at the top that says Soul Stacker Writing Intensive. I have a whole page and you can read over the information. We start on December 2nd. All the students that started with us this last cohort, they're coming back. Like they were like, we're coming back, coach. And then we have new students that are starting with us. So the whole point is to build infrastructure, get your writing up, understanding your market. And we're going deeper on some levels this next cohort because we're going to talk about case studies, creating those case studies for our people, how to go get them, and creating, like I said, infrastructure and systems around there. Because what we want to do is we're monetizing communities. You have to monetize your community. You want to build community but see, this is the thing though. Do you have something valuable to say? Like one of our students, she had over 200 downloads of her podcast. She didn't even know. But her podcast was pushed out through Substack. She had no idea until she looked at her stats yesterday, I believe. And but she's very gifted and intuitive coaching when it comes down to business owners, helping business owners to get back on track after losing themselves from business. And I told her, I said, all you gotta do is believe in yourself. That's all you have. Like, you have to just believe in what you do, and it doesn't matter how many times you've tried it before. There is somebody out there that want to hear from you, that need to hear from you, and that they need your guidance. They need your leadership, but you got to lead yourself. And so now people are subscribing to her Substack from Africa. She had people from Indonesia, people from Germany. People are subscribed. That's why I told y'all global growth is what's going to be necessary going into 2026. Because America, you already see, America is going to be center stage next year. There's going to be a lot of people that's going to be erratic. Are they still going to be buying? Yes. Are they still going to be selling? Yes. Are they still going to be investing? Absolutely. That's one thing America's going to keep doing, honey. We're going to keep spending. We're going to do life. But the value of what it is that they are going to invest in has to speak to them and their problem now. So you got to remember, if there is a problem that you are having in your current business or in your current situation, you got to remember what was going on before the problem, because something you had to have been okay before the problem, or it was bothering you, and then you got to a place where the awareness of your problem made you seek out resources and made you seek out somebody that could help you solve the problem. And this is what I'm trying to tell people. It's just because, oh, I invested already and I just, okay, but did you do the work? Because I told people to get to the place mentally of where you want to be, you're going to have to invest until you change your identity around that. A lot of us continue to get God in life because we have a relationship with the old version of ourselves that we don't want to let go. And we are not embracing the new. And we want to think that everything is tied to just doing. And this is why we're not moving, because it's really identity. It's really who you are. And this is why a lot of us are not showing up. We don't have our systems in order. But why are we showing up day to day to day doing content, but we're not tied to the development for that? Like, is that important to us? Are we committed to developing into who we say we're becoming? Does that make sense? Like, we're doing, but are we building character around that? Are we able to hold that? Even when it comes down to people. This is why a lot of times y'all don't want to deal with people. I don't, and it's always what I don't want. You always say what I don't want. I don't want tire kickers. I don't want people that don't have any money. Got it. Who does? Do you know how many people go into TJ Maxx and people that go into Walmart, people that go into Costco and they don't have any money and they go in there and look around? That happens all the time. You're gonna always attract people that ain't got no money. But now, if it's always like that, then there's something wrong with your messaging. But the only way to bring people up and to create clients, so I told people, like, you create clients, you don't go looking for clients, you create them. And many times it's about what you say, what you offer, and how you articulate the problem that they have. And then you're able to convey the solution clearly. So every week during this intensive, we're going to meet on every Monday. And we have the replays are going to be in the system, but every Monday we're going to meet at 11:30 Central Standard Time to discuss. I mean, it's a training, right? It's trainings and we're doing it together. There is homework because it's 6 weeks, so it's accelerated. And you have access to the materials in the course as long as you want. Courtney said we're going to smell candles. I love smelling the candles. So if this is something that you need, and that's what I'm saying need. I'm not saying desire. It's something that you need because skills are going to shift you into believing more. Because a lot of us don't, we haven't mastered. You got skills, but are they mastered? You see what I'm saying? There has to be a mastery that comes along with this. And this is also what I'm saying too. In order for you to make an impact in people's lives, you have to be able to embrace where we are and understand the psychology of people. And a lot of us don't understand that. There is a psychology. Instead of saying, "Oh, these people get on my nerves," and it's just always something, and people are not like they don't listen. They don't listen. Why don't they listen? Why? Why is that your complaint? Go to the root. What are you saying to people? Are you treating people like children? Are you treating people like they don't know anything? If what you say to them and it's not matching up to the type of people you want to serve, then obviously you're going to continue to attract people that you feel like you have to be mad at all the time. In order to work with people that can pay you the amount of money that you say you're worthy of, guess what's going to happen? You're going to have to be that person that is intelligent and can articulate properly. Like I talk to women all the time how I want to charge $10,000 coach. I want to charge 15. I want to charge 5,000 or whatever. And then when we go through their offer and they look at the price and they're like, "Oh my gosh," I'm like, "You know what? The reason why that price scares you is because the first thing you're thinking about is who is going to pay me that amount of money to work with me." But you don't have that same concern when you go into HR's office or you get an offer letter from a 9 to 5 with that because it's security. But now that it's on you, because you have to show up for yourself, that's when it becomes an issue. That's when it becomes, it's what are they going to say? And that's because you have to get confident in who you are and what you do. And a lot of that comes from the lack of communication and a lack of articulation of what you do because you don't know how to put it in a way where people are going to understand the offer. And then even asking questions from a diagnostic perspective so that you can be able to articulate the problem and then offer solutions. You don't know how to do that. So this is what I'm saying. There just it's more than just building a business. Even some of y'all going in the DMs that people have questions. I'm a and it could you can be selling candles, you could be selling hair, you could be selling digital products, you could be doing all these things. But when it comes down to even dealing with people and people having like, I'm just gonna pick somebody off the chat. I'm gonna say Courtney because I'm gonna pick on Courtney real quick. So if Courtney has digital products or candles on her website, right? And people come in the DMs and saying, "Hey Courtney, I was just on your website and I'm kind of in between the digital product that you have for this and the digital product you have for that." Right? Can you tell me which one that you feel like is best for my situation and they tell you about your situation? A lot of people get irritated with that. They like, "Oh, girl, just buy it." No, you look at that person's situation. Look, read what they're saying and answer the question. But then also make a note that why is this person confused? And go look at the messaging. Is the messaging clear? Is because if you are talking about having a quote unquote feminine business, you want to make sure things are clear, right? So you got to look at these things like, I want to make sure I'm clear. But a lot of times you don't even know what is the problem that you solve, the outcome of it. And it goes back to we have to understand where we are in the psychology of our buyer. This is the buyer behavior has changed. It's not like it used to be. And a lot of people are still having trouble with that. They're getting frustrated with their audience and getting frustrated with their followers and on social media and lashing out at people saying that, "Oh, you won't pay my invoice." Do you have an ecosystem? Do you have an ecosystem where people can read what you're saying and say, "Oh wow, okay, this makes sense. This is very clear what the outcome is." Because you're selling the outcome in terms of the story, but you're also giving them the process of what it takes to get the outcome. And the process is something that they don't mind doing. Like, tell me the process so I can get my mind ready to lean into that. And what is it going to take for me to get the outcome that I want? What do I need to download? What do I need to look up? Do you have templates for me so I can accelerate? Because you're accelerating somebody else's goals. Does that make sense? I'm nosy. Courtney said, I love when people ask questions because, baby, I'm going to paint a picture in their head. It's the visualization. They have to see themselves in the end. So, thinking about all these things and taking consideration of where we are, like use the tools that you have to prepare for the time ahead. If it is something you're saying to yourself, well, I don't have this and I don't have that. And do I need this? Do I need a landing page? Do I need an email service provider? Do I need this? And I saw somebody with this. You need to use minimum tools right now. You have Canva, you have access to YouTube. You if you're on Substack, you have Substack that's free. You have a website that's on Substack. You have a podcast that's on accessible to Substack. It's free to do that. I was just telling a colleague of mine yesterday, me and him was talking on TikTok, and he was like, Jay, what is like what's the advantage of me starting on Substack versus like something like School or Circle? I said, well, I can't speak to School or Circle because I'm not on there and I never use those systems. And maybe they do work and they're very, very good. Obviously, they're very successful. But, with Substack for me has, because I like to write. And maybe you don't like to write. Some people don't like to write, right? And then you have it to where it can push out through podcasts, it can push out through YouTube, YouTube Shorts, LinkedIn, etc. So there are multiple ways to what is it called? And Substack, remember, Substack stands for subscriber stacking. So they're stacking media distribution for you by way of you having subscribers that can also subscribe from other areas. If you are trying to build a community and build a business centered around business to consumer, right? And even if it's business to business, you can use Substack for that too. Have a publication for your B2B clients. That's up to you. But for majority of people, because of where we are, you can have the B2C piece and build community through the chats and community chats and all of that. See, for example, this Substack with podcasts, right? This is a live audio. I can push that, just click a button, and it's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, etc. YouTube, the reason why I do this on YouTube as well is because I monetize on YouTube and but this can go out to shorts. So there are multiple ways of distributing content now, and it goes back to what I said. Everybody want to be have a feminine business. I want to have a feminine business. Like I'm sitting on here on a mic talking to y'all. After this, I have a call in about an hour and a half, and then I'm going to do some other things to close out the last cohort to get ready for holidays next week, and then we start the next cohort on the second. So you understand building relationships in the DMs and all that kind of stuff. Courtney said, Chad told me, Chad told me this morning, the building school and Substack at the same time is like building two houses at the same time. Yeah, school is a different beast. I mean, because you have to build two communities. Like I told people, if you want to monetize on Facebook. Facebook has it to where you can have a subscriber community on there too. But if something happens with Facebook, you can't take those followers. On Substack, the list is yours. That's a misconception. That's a myth where people think that if I build an email list on Substack, that's not mine. You don't own that list. Yes, you do. You can download your entire email subscriber list. You can download it and take it anywhere you want to go. The only issue is that if you have paid subscribers in there, it's a different situation and you probably have to go through some other avenue on that. But I'm not looking to leave anytime soon. So that's why I'm like, I'm cool. But if you decide to leave and go to Beehive, I know they have a service where they can help you migrate your followers from over there, but I think it's a cost, if I'm not mistaken. And there's another one too that does that. That they'll, bring everybody over there for you. But my whole point is this. If you don't have your stuff together, like I would rather you have things together and be able, like, now is the time to build community. People are like getting themselves ready for the new year. It's going into 2026. This is a new season. You need to have your stuff together and be ready for that transition. If you go into 2026 without your stuff together, you're going to just loop out if you're not careful. Can you still make it in 2026? Absolutely, you can. But the intent is to make it so that you won't. You see what I'm saying? Like, just think about this year. If you didn't have time this year, what makes you think next year is going to be better? Because you don't know what's coming next year. Go look at the article I did on the essay for The Economist. They're intentionally doing this. There's an intent of chaos. So if you're like, oh, every day I get up is something, you're not going to be focused next year. That's why I said, like, have your stuff ready this year. Lean in and lock in this year so that next year you're coasting. I mean, yeah, you can care about what's going on in the world, but you also know that you have your own personal mission and your own impact that what you're doing in the world matters. And maybe you can't always help millions and millions of people, but you can help a large chunk to be okay and to learn skills that is going to get them through because all of this, you're still going to the other side of this. Okay. So, first things first, subscribe to my Substack. If you want to become a paid subscriber of Substack, that's fine too. That's $19 a month. We also have a special on the yearly subscription. I believe it's 20% off. But the big push right now is that we are enrolling for the Soul Stacker Writing Intensive, where you're going to learn how to put your office together, what free offers are good. We're going to talk about it. And then we're also, it's building community. You need to be with other people that are doing things. A lot of y'all don't have connections in community. So this is a way for you to build community. Okay. So anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed today. I know that it was a couple of minutes late, but thank y'all so much for being a part of this. Remember, next week, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, there will not be a morning show, but Monday and Tuesday, I'm coming on same time, but Saturday and Sunday, I will not be on. So don't get on here at 9 o'clock and be like, where's Coach Jay? It's the weekend. And go back and listen to the other lives that were like really good this week. And make comments like, share, 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 because we want to grow. We want to grow. All right. Y'all have a great weekend. We will talk soon. And I got to jump on some other calls, but y'all, let's go do it. Let's make it happen. All right, YouTube. All right, Substack. Have a good